Welcome to Tungla Online Classes. Today we are going to discuss about the topic of horizontal projectile. Horizontal projectile. In the last class we discussed oblique projectile. What is meant by oblique projectile? If any one of the body will be thrown into the air, if any one of the body is thrown into the air with a certain initial velocity, which is making an angle theta with respect to the horizontal, which should be less than 90 degrees, such type of projection we are calling as a what? Oblique projectile. Oblique means nothing but with a certain angle. But in the case of the horizontal projectile, a body will be thrown into the air horizontal to the ground. Horizontal to the ground. So for that I consider a tall building whose height will be assuming as small h. So I consider what? A tower is considered that is having certain height small h from the ground. So from the top of the tower, a body will be thrown horizontally. A body will be thrown horizontally with a certain initial velocity u as shown in the figure. So what we consider here? A tower will be considered. We are assuming that the height of the tower is equal to what? Small h. From the top of the tower, a body will be thrown horizontally. A body will be thrown horizontally with a certain initial velocity u. So what happens? Whenever the body will be projected into the air horizontally, what type of forces are acting on the object? What type of forces are acting on the object? In the last class also I told, in the case of the projectile motion, we told that first point is there is no force acts along the horizontal direction. So if a body will be either obliquely projected or it is projected horizontal to the ground, there is no force is acting on the object. In which direction? Horizontal direction. In the horizontal direction, over the given object, there is no force is acting. That means if there is no force is acting along the horizontal direction, means let us assume this direction will be taken as a what? X-axis. So that implies force acting along the x-axis is equal to 0. Force acting along the x-axis is equal to 0. If force acting along the x-axis is equal to 0 means, from that we will write acceleration present along the x-axis also is equal to 0. If there is no force is acting along the horizontal direction, that horizontal direction will be assuming as a what? X-axis. That means there is no force is acting along the x-axis, fx is equal to 0. If fx is equal to 0, the acceleration present along the x-axis also is equal to 0. The acceleration present along the x-axis also is equal to 0. Then which force is acting on the projectile? Only which force was present? Gravitational force was act. Only which force will be acting? Only gravitational force will be acting. That gravitational force is also acting in which direction? Vertically downward direction. Which direction? Gravitational force is always acting in the vertically downward direction. So here, similar to the oblique projectile, what we are going to calculate? We are going to calculate equation of trajectory. What we are going to calculate? Equation of trajectory. So we are going to find what? Equation of the trajectory. So yesterday we proved that the equation of a trajectory of the oblique projectile is y is equal to ax minus bx square. There you assume a is equal to tan theta, b is equal to g by 2u square into cos square theta. So here also similar equation we are going to calculate for the equation of the trajectory. Now we are assuming that a body was projected horizontally. A body was projected horizontally from the top of the tower at t is equal to 0 seconds. At what time we projected the body into the air? At t is equal to 0 seconds, the object will be thrown horizontally from the top of the given tower or given tall building, right? Now, after t seconds, the particle will be crossing the point P of xy. At t is equal to 0, where the particle was? At the top of the tower. After t seconds, the particle will be crossing the point P of x comma y. P of x comma y. Here x is denoting what? Displacement covered by the projectile. Displacement covered by the projectile along the x-axis. Where y is indicating what? Displacement covered by the same projectile. Displacement covered by the same projectile along the y-axis. Here the projection will be takes place in the plane. That means in a given time interval, the particle will be covering some of the displacement along the x-axis. Simultaneously, the same object will also covering some more displacement along the y-axis also, that only indicating the P of x comma y. First we consider the motion along the x-axis. Along the x-axis, what you know? Acceleration value is equal to 0. Acceleration value is equal to what? 0. Okay, next. Here the object is projected along which direction? Horizontal direction. Here we assume the horizontal direction is nothing but x-axis, so that the initial velocity present along the x-axis ux is given by u, and acceleration value is equal to what? 0. Now I want to calculate displacement covered by the particle along the x-axis. For calculating the displacement, we know the general formula. S is equal to ut plus half at square. S is equal to what? Ut plus half at square. In the place of x, I will write s suffix x, ux, ax into t square. What is the displacement covered by the particle along the x-axis? Let it be taken as a what? X. Therefore, displacement along the x direction is equal to what? X. X is equal to ux value is equal to what? U. T value means t, and this value is equal to what? 0. That value is equal to what? 0. Why 0? Ax value is equal to 0. That's why half into ax into t square term also is equal to 0. Therefore, x is equal to, I am writing that, u into t. From this, I took the value of t. T is equal to x by u. T is equal to what? X by u. So, if we consider the motion along the x-axis, I got the equation x is equal to u into t. From that I took the value of small t. That value is equal to t is equal to x by u. Now, I want to study the motion along the y-axis. So, the object will be projected horizontally. Horizontally means the initial motion will be restricted, confined to the x direction only. The initial motion of the object will be in which direction? Along the x-axis. If the initial motion of the object will be along the x-axis, is there any motion was present along the y-axis? No, there is no motion was present along the y-axis. There is no motion along the y-axis means initial velocity along the y-axis is equal to 0. Initial velocity along the y-axis is equal to 0. Again I repeating, because the body was projected along the horizontal direction, the initial velocity must be present along the x direction only. That's why there is no initial velocity present along the y-axis. Coming to the acceleration. Already we assumed that there is no force is acting along the horizontal direction. That's why you wrote Fx is equal to 0. From this you wrote Ax value is equal to 0. But Along the y direction, which force will be acting? Gravitational force will be acting. And the gravitational force is acting in which direction? Vertically downward direction. Vertically downward direction. Already I told yesterday the sign convention. If you took the values along the positive y-axis, those values will be taken as a positive. Those values will be taken as a what? Positive. Again, whatever the values you considered along the positive y-axis or upward direction, their values will be considered as a positive. Here the acceleration will be acting in the downward direction. So downward direction means what? Along the negative y-axis, whatever the values you are going to take, either it is a displacement, velocity, acceleration, whatever the value you consider along the negative y-axis, they must be considered as negative only. This is a sign convention because acceleration, displacement are the vector quantity. For that we have to compulsory mention their direction. So here acceleration due to gravity will be acting along the negative y-axis. That's why I am writing that Ay is equal to minus G. Ay is equal to what? Minus G. One more term we have to see from the diagram. From this point to upward direction, this is the positive y-axis. From the point of projection to the upwards, if you consider, that is the positive y-axis. From the point of projection to downwards, that is indicating what? Negative y-axis. Here in the diagram I mentioned the displacement. Displacement is measured from the point of projection only, so that this displacement value will be measured in which direction? Downward direction. From here to here I measured this value. That value will be measured in which direction? Downward direction. Which direction? Downward direction. So that displacement along the y-axis will be taken as s suffix y. That value is also written as minus y. Sy is equal to what I wrote? Minus y. Why I wrote the minus y? The displacement you measured below the horizontal or towards the negative y-axis. That's why the displacement Sy value can be written as Sy is equal to what? Minus y. Now again we will take the general equation. What is the general equation? S is equal to ut plus half at square. S is equal to what? Ut plus half at square. We are describing the motion along which axis? Y-axis. That's why here we are putting s suffix y, uy, ay into t square. Uy into t plus half ay into t square. In the place of sy, what we have to write? Minus y. Uy value is equal to what? 0 into t plus half into ay value is equal to what? Minus g into t square. Here minus y is equal to 1 by 2 into minus g minus half gt square. Minus will be getting cancelled. So here what you will get? Y is equal to half gt square. Y is equal to what? Half gt square. Let it be equation number 2. Now see here. What you got here? Y is equal to what? Y is equal to what you got? Half into g into t square. Y is equal to what you got? Half into g into t square. Now what you got? Y is equal to half into g into t square. Already you got the t value. We know t is equal to x by u. T is equal to what? X by u. Substitute the value of t in the equation number 2. So you get y is equal to 1 by 2 into g into x by u whole square. 1 by 2 into g into x by u whole square. So that value is equal to half into g into x square by u square. X square by u square. So therefore I will write this value as half into g by u square into x square. Into x square. So here I am assuming that let k is equal to g by 2u square. Let k is equal to what? G by 2u square. Therefore, the given equation becomes to what? Y is equal to kx square. So, y is equal to what? Kx square. This equation only we are calling as trajectory of the projectile. So that equation will be explaining what? Trajectory of projectile, or the same equation we are also calling as equation of trajectory. Equation of trajectory for which type of projectile? Horizontal projectile. Which type of projectile? Horizontal projectile. So what is the equation for the projectile? Y is equal to kx square is indicating what? Trajectory of the horizontal projectile. Trajectory of the horizontal projectile. Next, in this only two small applications are there. First one is time taken by the projectile to reach the ground. Time taken by the projectile to reach the ground. So, here we are assumed that, already we assumed, small h is indicating what? Small h is indicating what? Height of the tower. Height of the tower or height of the building, whatever you assume. So, I am assuming that small h is indicating what? Height of the tower. So, whenever the body will be projected horizontally with an initial velocity u, after t seconds, after how much time I am assuming? After t seconds, the projectile will be landing on the ground. So that they are asking after what time the projectile will be reaching onto the ground. So for that, I consider the motion along the y-axis again. So if you consider the motion along the y-axis, first we will speak about the displacement of the projectile. So here, what is the total displacement covered by the projectile? The total displacement covered by the projectile is nothing but height of the tower. So that displacement of the projectile along the y-axis is equal to, again I am writing minus h. What is the minus denotes? This height, this displacement will be measured from here to here, vertically downwards. So, displacement covered by the projectile along the negative y-axis is equal to what? Sy is equal to minus h. Next, acceleration along the y-axis. Ay is equal to what? Minus g. Next, initial velocity present along the y-axis. Already I told. Initial velocity present along the y-axis value is equal to what? 0. Now, again I took the basic equation. S is equal to ut plus half at square. S is equal to what? Ut plus half at square. Along which axis we are describing the motion? Along the y-axis. That's why I put Sy, Uy, Ay. Sy, Uy, Ay. Right? What is the Sy value? Minus h. Uy value 0 into t plus 1 by 2 into minus g into t square. 1 by 2 into minus g into t square. So this value becomes minus h is equal to minus gt square. minus minus will be getting cancelled, minus minus will be getting cancelled. From this, t square is equal to 2h by g. T square is equal to what? 2h by g. Therefore, time taken by the projectile to reach the ground, is given by t is equal to under root of 2h by g. T is equal to what? Under root of 2h by g. Mostly this concept we are applying in the case of numericals. So at that time we are using the formula time taken by the horizontal projectile to reach the ground is t is equal to under root of 2h by g. Now here this is the point of projection and this is the point A. That means from the foot of the tower to the point where it was landed, from the foot of the tower to a point where the projectile was landed. So between these 2 points some horizontal distance will be existed. That horizontal distance is nothing but we are calling as a range. So here range of the horizontal projectile is defined as the distance of separation from the foot of the tower to a point where the projectile was landed on the ground. Such a type of distance we are calling as a what? Range of the horizontal projectile. So range of the horizontal projectile. So r is equal to, we are writing ux into t. R is equal to what? Ux into t. What is the ux value? Ux value is nothing but u. So u. And what is the t? Already we derived. T is equal to what is the formula? Under root of 2h by g. Therefore, range r is equal to u into what? U into under root of 2h by g. Here which value we calculated? Range value. That range value will be indicated with the symbol capital R. What is the formula for the range? Range R is equal to ux into t. This t is denoting what? Time taken by the horizontal projectile to reach the ground. So t value already we derived under root of 2h by g. So range is equal to what? U into under root of 2h by g. So this is another projectile concept, that is nothing but horizontal projectile motion. Okay. Next topic is uniform circular motion. What is that? Uniform circular motion. Before going to discuss the uniform circular motion, already we completed a translatory motion in one dimension. So how can we say a given object is in translatory motion or pure translatory motion? What is the meaning of a pure translatory motion? If any one of the object is in the pure translatory motion, each and every particle of the given rigid body must be having the same displacement as well as same linear velocity. Once again repeating that, if any one of the given rigid body is said to be in the pure translatory motion, what is the required condition is each and every particle present in that rigid body must be traveling with the same linear velocity, and all the given particles will be covering the same amount of displacements in same intervals of time. In same intervals of time, such a type of motion we called pure translatory motion. Pure translatory motion. Here we are going to discuss about uniform circular motion. Uniform circular motion. So in the linear motion we say that all the objects are having the same linear displacement, same linear velocity. Same linear displacement as well as same linear velocity. Coming to the circular motion, suppose I consider any one of the rigid body, that rigid body will be rotating, about a fixed axis, in the rotatory motion. What we consider here? We consider a rigid body. That a rigid body will be rotating about the fixed axis. Then we say that each and every particle present in that rigid body, will be having same angular displacement as well as same angular velocity. In the translatory motion, what we said? Same linear displacement as well as same linear velocity. Coming to the rotatory motion, if any one of the rigid body will be rotating about the fixed axis, the each and every particle present in that rigid body will be having same angular displacement as well as same angular velocity. So here we told that each and every particle will be having same angular displacement as well as same angular velocity. First we have to came to know what is meant by angular displacement, what is meant by angular velocity. Now we are going to discuss about some of the definitions are there. What is that? Radius vector. What is the radius vector? What is the angular displacement? What is the angular velocity? What is the angular acceleration? These terms are required for describing the motion of any one of the body that should be performing in the circular motion. Now we are going to define those definitions. Now, the first definition of circular motion. How can we define a particle is in circular motion? If any one of the body will be said to be in the circular motion, the particle is rotating around a fixed point. If a particle is rotating around a fixed point in the form of a circle, circular path, then we said the motion of the particle is in circular motion. If the particle is rotating about a fixed point, along which path? Along the circular path. If any one of the particle will be rotating around a fixed point in the form of a circular path, then we say that the given particle is in circular motion. So here we are assuming that a particle is revolving. A particle P. I am assuming that P is a particle. O is the fixed point of a circular path. This fixed point is also nothing but center of the circle. Now, I want to define one more definition. Radius vector. So in generally in mathematics we know that if a circle is given, we will measure that the radius is from here to here, here to here. So how can we define the radius vector? Radius vector. Again vector. Vector is nothing but what? Directed line segment. Directed line segment. So radius vector is defined as the directed line segment which is drawn from fixed point to any one of the point on the circumference of the circle. So the directed line segment which is drawn from the fixed point to any one of the point on the circumference of a circle. Circumference of a circle is describing the radius vector. So what is the definition? The directed line segment drawn from the fixed point, drawn from the center to any one of the point on the circumference of the circle. So such vector is called what? Radius vector. That vector is called what? Radius vector. So radius vector is represented by r bar. So that is the definition of the radius vector. Now coming to the definition of angular displacement. So how can we define general linear displacement? The shortest distance between initial position to what? Final position. That is we are saying as a what? Linear displacement. But in the case of the circular path, so this is again center O and this is the point P. So I am assuming that a particle is revolving in the circular motion. What I was assuming that a particle will be revolving in the circular motion. If a particle will be revolving in the circular motion, its position will be changes from time to time. I am assuming that at t is equal to 0, the particle was present at the point P. I am assuming that the particle will be present where t is equal to 0 at a point P. That means its motion was started from the point P only. Its motion will be started from where? From the point P only. In a time of t seconds, its position will be changes from P to Q. Now we will define angular displacement. The angle described by the radius vector, again, the angle described by the radius vector or the angle through which the radius vector will be rotated. In a given time interval is nothing but angular displacement. Once again, the angle rotated by the angle described by the, either described by the, rotated by the angle described by the given radius vector in a given time interval is nothing but angular displacement. See here, whenever the particle was present at the point P, the radius vector will be drawn from the radius vector will be drawn from O to the point P. O to the point P. Whenever the particle will be came into the motion, whenever the particle will be came into the motion, again it is reached the point Q, the radius vector also displaced. The radius vector is also what? Displaced. Here the displacement of the radius vector is nothing but angular displacement, not the displacement of the particle we said that here. So here angular displacement is nothing but the displacement of the radius vector, or the angle rotated by the radius vector is also saying as a what? Angular displacement. So whenever the particle will be traveling from the point P the point Q, the radius vector is also rotated by certain amount of angle. That angle is nothing but angular displacement. Angular displacement. I am finalizing the definition once again. Listen. The angle through which radius vector will be rotated during the particle is in the motion. Such type of angle rotated by the radius vector is called what? Angular displacement. So angular displacement will be represented by the symbol theta. It is represented by the symbol theta. Radius vector will be represented by with what symbol? R bar. Angular displacement will be represented by with what symbol? Theta. Next, its SI unit is equal to radian. SI unit is equal to what? Radian. Next, pi radians is equal to 180 degrees. Pi radians is equal to what? 180 degrees. Pi radians is equal to how much? 180 degrees. From this, 1 radian is equal to 180 by pi, that is equal to 57.3 degrees. 1 radian is equal to how many degrees? 57.3 degrees. Next. So here, what we told, if any one of the particle will be revolving in the circular path, the radius vector will be displaced. Through certain angle. That angle only we are calling as a what? Angular displacement. If a particle will be completing one revolution, one revolution, if a particle will be completed one revolution, what is the angle described by the radius vector? What is the angular displacement? Once again, if a particle will be completes one complete rotation means the particle will be starting from the point P, again it reaches the point P again, then only we are saying that that particle was completed one complete rotation. If any one of the particle will be completed one complete rotation, what amount of angle was described by the radius vector or angular displacement? Angular displacement value is equal to 2 pi radians. If a particle will be completed one complete rotation, the angle described by the radius vector or angular displacement value is equal to how much? Theta is equal to 2 pi radians. Theta is equal to what? 2 pi radians. If the same particle completes, if it completes capital N number of revolutions. For one revolution, what is the angle described by the radius vector? Theta is equal to 2 pi. Here I am saying that the same particle will be completing n number of revolutions. N number of revolutions. For one revolutions, theta value is equal to how much? 2 pi radians. For n number of revolutions, the angular displacement value theta will be given by 2 pi n. Theta will be given by how much? 2 pi n. This is the complete information about angular displacement. Angular displacement. Thank you.